Hello everyone and welcome to Applications Manager's free training series. So let me introduce myself. My name is Angelin. I'm a product specialist here at Manage Engine. So I'll be the trainer for today's session. So just a heads up about the achievements we've made this year. I'm happy to announce that Manage Engine Applications Manager has been recognized by Gartner Magic Quadrant for the 10th year, and I request you to read the report. We've also been nominated for the Peer Insights Customer Choice Award and also the CIO Select Award from Enterprise IT World. You may know this training is conducted across 4 weeks and we are in the third week of the training. If you wish to take a look at the previous training sessions, you can check out our website or our YouTube channel. So during week 1, we saw how you can monitor your IT infrastructure with Applications Manager, application-centric infrastructure monitoring feature. And in week 2, you saw how you can monitor your application's performance with the help of APM Insight. And in this week, we'll be looking at the digital experience monitoring feature in Applications Manager. So why are we discussing it? In the digital era, most enterprises use a web platform to reach the potential customers and showcase the products or solutions that they offer. Websites have become extremely popular as a medium of establishing a brand image, and they contribute to making a major share of revenue. Well-planned websites can capture the attention of the target audience, increasing the probability of them turning into valuable and paying customers. Whether you deliver a smooth experience for your customers or not depends on the performance of your website. So in today's webinar, I'll be walking you through the agenda of today's webinar. So we'll be looking at how you can measure the website performance and changes in real time. In part 2, we'll be looking at how you can proactively identify and resolve potential user impacting issues through synthetic monitoring. In part 3, we'll be looking at how you can analyze real user behavior patterns to gain insights into front-end performance. And in the last part, we'll be looking at how you can enhance the web page performance to safeguard your brand reputation. So first, let us see how we can effectively evaluate and track the availability and performance of websites. So according to an article published in browserstack.com, 47% of consumers expect a page to load in 2 seconds or less. 5% of people abandon a website that takes more than 3 seconds to load, and a 1 second delay in page response can result in a 7% reduction in conversions. If your website is unavailable or has poor responsiveness, end users won't be able to engage with your website's pages or wouldn't want to wait for them to load, which can have a significant impact on your business's reputation. Therefore, to ensure the effectiveness of your site, avoid any performance hiccups and create seamless experiences for users, website performance monitoring is essential. Not only does it provide insight into your website's availability, but it also gives you an understanding of critical metrics of your website so that you can work on improving its reliability and make it work optimally. So the first step in a digital experience is the interaction that the user has with the website. So when the user tries to access it, it needs to be available. Downtime and slowness are major causes of concern for your businesses. So frequent downtime and slowness can make your site lose credibility among loyal customers, as well as create a first bad impression on the first time visitors. So what causes website slowness and downtime? So first we have scheduled maintenance. A scheduled maintenance is a temporary period in which a site or an app is made offline for updates, backups, or maintenance. We have data center problems or internal server errors. If there's a data center problem or a server error, the request from the user may not even reach the server. So we have bugs in code. These bugs may cause errors and prevent the site from not loading and might cause slow loading. So the fourth one, we have high traffic to the website. If too many people are trying to access the website at the same time, then it may not be able to handle the load. Then fifth, we have hacking attempts. Hackers trying to pull any suspicious activities on your site can cause it to go down or become slow. And lastly, we have SSL certificate expiry. If your SSL certificates has expired, then it may cause website slowness and downtime. To prevent problems like this, you can use Applications Manager's URL monitoring feature. With Applications Manager's URL monitor, you can ensure a 24/7 website availability. So it acts as a continuous URL monitoring service that keeps the constant watch over a specific URL or a web page. It helps verify the availability of the specified addressable standard HTTP or HTTPS URLs. You will be able to get instant notifications whenever your site is down. You can use it to easily monitor your website's availability and get notifications whenever the site is down or if there's a performance anomaly that the tool has noticed. You can also recheck the website status to identify and eliminate false positives. Everybody loves a fast website. With improvements in broadband speeds and the advent of superfast websites, user expectations about the website speed have changed. So with the help of a URL monitor, you can also validate the HTTP requests and track the website response time along with split ups such as DNS time, connection time, first byte time, and last byte time. The response time of a website determines the speed of the website. Response time is how long it takes for your web server to connect and send data packets to the browser of an end user. A website without latency can leave a good impression on customers and can help lower the bounce rates too. Applications Manager URL Monitor tracks your website's response time along with split ups, like I mentioned, the DNS time, connection time, first byte time, and last byte time. First byte time is the time it takes for the browser to receive the first byte of response from the web server, meaning it's a very strong indication of how the website speed is performing for that user. And lastly, you get root cause diagnosis for quicker troubleshooting. This helps you troubleshoot issues and reduce the MTTR. So let me quickly go to the UI and show you how you can add a URL monitor and also the metrics that you can monitor with the URL monitor. So this is the Applications Manager's dashboard. Go to New Monitor and click on New Monitor. And under Web Server Services, you'll be able to see all the web server services that are monitored in Applications Manager. Click on HTTP URL monitor. So here it's pretty straightforward. You just have to give the display name and the URL address. So for the URL address, I'm copying the Applications Manager's URL and I'm pasting it right here. So you need to mention the polling interval and the timeout. So if you want any additional settings, you can go to HTTP configurations, wherein you have to submit the form submission method, whether it's post or get, the request parameters, and you have some basic authentication. If you already have a basic authentication, you can just specify the username and password. If you've already listed the credential in the credentials list, then you can just click on select from credential list and click on whichever credential you want. You can also choose to use the SAML ADFS authentication. If you haven't or already added it, you can add it using this link, which opens the SAML configuration tab, wherein you have to provide the display name, the redirect URL, the submission method, the headers, the SSL version, and also you can check whether if you want to redirect the form or not, and then click on the request finding, whether it's redirect or post, and give it the form name. You also have the ADFS details, wherein you have to provide the sign-in URL, the user credential, the username identifier, password identifier, and response binding for that service, and also the ACS URL along with it. Click on save and you will be able to add a SAML authenticator. So after this, you need to specify if you want an alert if the response code is greater than 200. If the monitor detects any, you can also choose to verify the error. You can also add the agent, the user agent, and also the custom HTTP headers. Select your ESSL version, and if you want to authenticate this SSL client certificate, then check this. Then choose the file that you want to upload and the password. So it will check whether it's authenticated or not. You can also check for the content, whether it has a particular word or not. And you can do a sensitive keyword search as well. After all that, just click on add URL monitor. Click on add URL monitor and you should be good to go. After adding the URL monitor, in order to look at the metrics, you need to go to monitors, and under monitors, have it under web server services. So click on the HTTP URLs and click on the URL that you want to monitor. And here you will be having all the metrics related to that URL, such as response time, represented in both graphical and tabular format. In tabular format, you get the average response time and the current response time. You also get the response time split up where you have the DNS time, connection time, first byte time, and last byte time. You also get the metric of the page size, the current page size of the URL, the percentage of the page size change, and also the previous page size. This helps you verify if the page has been modified or not. And it also helps you keep your page size up to a particular value so that the response time is not changed. So that is it about the URL monitor. Moving on to part 2, which is how to proactively identify and resolve potential user impacting issues with the help of synthetic monitoring. Like I was saying earlier, in today's age of instant gratification, end users expect to be able to enjoy a seamless, issue-free experience on your website. Although monitoring the website availability and response time gives you a fair idea of whether your website is up and running or not, you can't know if your users are able to perform transactions without fail unless you understand the website's end user experience. This is where you need to use synthetic monitoring techniques. Here are some of the things that it helps us to do. First, we can analyze the website performance from an end user's perspective. This helps you identify issues that might otherwise go unnoticed. So second one, you can test the performance of critical user paths on your website by recording these complex workflows using the recorder. So it lets you record the workflows to keep an eye on important transactions taking place on your website, and also take a look at it afterwards to identify any errors that you have missed during the recording session. You can also dynamically track the website availability and the performance from an end user's location. One of the main advantages is that you can dynamically track the website with the help of an EOM agent, which is deployed in your end user's location. You can also ensure that your website is meeting your business objectives and service level agreements. So since this is an important objective for many businesses, synthetic transaction monitoring helps you verify if these are met, and it also provides a line of sight on the service level agreements. Now let us see how Applications Manager's real browser monitoring facilitates the real synthetic transaction monitoring. So Applications Manager's synthetic transaction monitoring, also known as Real Browser Monitor in Applications Manager, opens up an actual browser like Firefox from multiple geographical locations and tracks how the elements in your websites load from that location and more specifically the way your users view them. So you need to simulate the business critical processes with the help of Selenium based scripting of tests. This is the first step which involves a web transaction recorder in which you record critical transaction. Every action that we perform while recording, be it hovering, clicking an element, all of it, it will be saved in a Selenium based script file. Then you run checks from real browsers such as Chrome or Firefox. Applications Manager then opens up a real browser in which it plays the recorded transaction again to verify or identify if any error occurs. During this playback, data collection takes place and all the performance metrics are then published on the monitor dashboard. You can also take screenshots for reference when there are errors. And the main advantage of synthetic transaction monitoring in Applications Manager is that it lets you test it from different locations. Like I mentioned before, to facilitate the monitoring in multiple locations, we make of end user monitoring agents. So let us say you're hosting an event in your office and you created a registration form for the same. All the employees need to register for this event, which means that your employees from all your branch offices should be able to do so without any hassle. So to test this critical workflow of filling the form and successfully registering for the event, you can use Applications Manager's real browser monitoring feature. For that, you'll first need to install EUM agents in all your branch offices. Then you can record the transaction of filling and registering from your main office. The same transaction will also be performed in all your branch offices using these EUM agents that will then send the data to Applications Manager. This way, you can check if the workflow functions without any errors in all the desired locations. Applications Manager's end user monitoring agents basically provide greater visibility into the user experience and help detect potential performance problems with ease. The EM agents can be installed in multiple branch offices in different cities or in systems of your end users. All you need is a secure HTTPS connection between the agent and the Applications Manager server. So so you need to download the EOM agent for this particular feature. So you'll be able to find it in our EOM agent download page after downloading it and installing it. So when you install it, you'll need to specify the EUM API key as well. So for that, you need to go to settings and REST API under the integration with portal, and you'll get the REST API key over here. So for EUM agent, you have it here. So you just need to copy and paste it when you are installing the agent and also when you're running the EUM agent. The EUM agent doesn't have to it doesn't perform any action except for running. So after you paste it, you just have to keep it running to monitor the end user performance. So after that, to get the Selenium based recording, it is pretty simple. So in order to get the recording, just go to inspect. After you open the web page, go to inspect and under network, you will be able to record the whole action. So be it clicking on any element or hovering or clicking on download, everything, it will be recorded. And afterwards, just stop recording and you can save the file by clicking download. So after you click download, you'll get the HAR file, which you can add it to the web transaction recorder, or you can go to the web transaction extension and record a new transaction or import a Selenium script file. So if you already have a Selenium script file, you'll be able to import it. But since we don't have it, so we'll just our website and perform the actions, the necessary actions that you want to do. So after doing all the necessary actions, just stop recording, click on playback and save. So you have the preferences listed here. You just have to give the page to load timeout, the delay between requests, and also block domains and accept untrusted certificate, whether if you want to accept an untrusted certificate or not, and then click on next. After that, you will be able to have it in your system. So when you go to monitors, this is how you'll be able to get the real web transaction recorder extension. So you can also import the Selenium test case by, like I mentioned before, by going to the inspect and network and recording all the transactions. Afterwards, you'll be able to get the metrics by going to the monitors tab and clicking on real browser monitoring. So since we've already saved the transaction with the help of web transaction recorder, you'll have all the details here. So you have the details of the EUM agents that were deployed in your system. By clicking on it, you will be able to view the details such as average page load time, the transaction time, the page load time of steps, and the steps which have been performed, along with your screenshots. You also get the resources along with its status code and size, and how long it has taken to load in the server. This is about browser monitoring. So only if you click on the EUM agents, you'll be able to view the underlying data. In the real browser monitoring dashboard, you'll get the general details about the EUM agents, the page load time by location, where the EUM agents have been deployed. So this is about EUM and RBM in Applications Manager. So what are the synthetic transaction monitoring use cases? So number one, we have comparing your performance to your competition. With synthetic transaction monitoring, you can set up benchmark scenarios to see how your applications are performing over time. You can also benchmark your company's performance against top competitors within a certain historical time frame or a certain geographical location. This approach will help you establish a strategic outlook and preserve the competitive advantage in the marketplace. So you can test out new features. Testing is an important and an early stage of application development. Synthetic monitoring provides a set of baselines and thresholds that will pinpoint any obstacles one is likely to face while using the application in real time. Third one, we have measuring the performance impact of third-party applications. Today's websites increasingly rely on third-party features such as carts, ads, customer reviews, web analytics, social networking, SEO add-ons, video, and so much more to provide outstanding customer experiences. If there's a weak link in the chain, or one or more of these elements are not working correctly, it can adversely impact your site. So synthetic transaction monitoring can greatly assist in helping you monitor your third-party applications while also alerting you to potential or real performance degradations and downtime impacts. In the UI, we looked at all the components in your website and all the size of the components along with the response time. So by monitoring it, you will be able to understand how it affects your website, and also tremendously provides a line of sight on your service level agreements in order to hold the third party vendors accountable. Number four, you can find issues before the customers do. It helps you set up baseline tests in order to measure the way your customers will interact with your websites, APIs, or mobile apps. This type of testing can improve the direct feedback of performance, degradation, or availability issues. It will also help your team locate the root cause, engage the right experts, and fix the issues before they impact the end users. So now we will move on to our third topic for today: how to analyze user behavior patterns to gain insights into front-end performance. So first of all, what is real user monitoring? Real user monitoring refers to capturing users' interactions with the website in real time. It gives complete visibility into the real-time front-end performance of websites and web applications. As businesses go digital and global, their websites are accessed from various devices and from multiple geographies. It is important to provide a consistent user experience across all geographies and devices. But in reality, the user experience could be impacted by various external factors like network latency, operational hiccups, trouble retrieving the requested resources, and slow ISPs. So, what works in one browser may not work in another. This is where real user monitoring comes in handy. It helps you see why your website is slow in a particular region, identify if you've overlooked any issues with your page load time, find out where and why a user abandoned a page, etc. All of this information enables you to optimize your website performance. To understand why RUM or real user monitoring is more essential, we must understand the drawbacks of synthetic transaction monitoring. Number one, it does not align with reality. Synthetic monitoring has one major weakness: it does not always align with reality. Due to the fact that the nature of the traffic used for synthetic monitoring is synthetic or probably fake, and isn't truly representative of real user experience at any given time, its outcome and performance are rather predictable. Because synthetic monitoring uses simulated actions, it does not predict the actions of real life customers. Number two, it is time consuming for incident resolution. When you receive complaints from end users in real time, synthetic data does not tell about what the end user was actually doing or experiencing. You could have to painstakingly analyze the performance for every business critical transaction and create a script for the synthetic testing in order to uncover possible issues, and this can sometimes be time consuming. So you only get a narrow view of performance. Monitoring can't match the rich diversity of performance variables that exist in the real world because you are not monitoring real users. So you are not really getting any data on how your product is used in the real world. All you have is a simple, narrow view of the application performance. So how does real user monitoring work in Applications Manager? To facilitate data collection and reporting, a real user monitoring agent is deployed in the server where the application is hosted. Following that, a small JavaScript snippet is generated by Applications Manager. This is to be placed in the header or footer or part of the HTML code of that web application that you want to track. Upon loading, this snippet acts as the core that collects the performance data and constantly transmits to the RUM agent. This agent then communicates between this JS code and the Applications Manager web client, which visually depicts the captured data. So what can you do with the real user monitoring feature in Applications Manager? You can analyze the front-end performance across several geographies, ISPs, browsers, and devices to ensure a hassle-free digital experience. Measure the end user satisfaction with the help of Aptic scores. You can isolate web transactions that contribute to poor user experiences of the applications. You gain comprehensive insights about the domain resources and user sessions. You can identify JavaScript errors instantly to prevent users from reporting the service errors, and also analyze and compare the impact of any new changes made in the site and how it has affected the user experience. Uh, in order to add a new real user monitor, you need to go to on add new monitor and add new monitor under web servers and services. You have the real user monitor. So you need to download the real user monitoring uh, agent before that. And after you download it and install it with the help of the REST API key, which was mentioned before, you can add a real user monitor here. So here you need to specify the display name, the website URL, index threshold, and also let's say it's 25 milliseconds. The application framework type, whether it's a traditional or a single page application. Uh, if it's a traditional application, you can also track the cross domain AJAX calls. You can track the AJAX calls and also the cross domain AJAX calls. But in a single page application, you can only track the cross domain AJAX calls. You can add if you want to exclude any domains in your website URL, and also the user agents that you want to exclude. You can choose to track the resource performance and also monitor the availability of your website in idle state as well. So you need to associate this monitors instance with an RUM agent that you've already installed. So select that agent and click on Add Monitors. So in order to go to a monitor, go to Monitors and under Web Servers and Services, click on Real User Monitor. Click on your monitor name and you will be able to get the metrics on the URL. So here you get the script. This is the script that you have to paste in your web page URL, either in the header or the footer part. Only if you paste this JavaScript, you will be able to get the metrics from your URL. So after you paste it, you go to summary where you will see the summary of the real user monitor with aptic score, response time, page views, and error. And also you have the geographical world view. You get the response time split up in a graphical format, and also the page views and throughput. So if you click on geographic tab, you get the world view and the summary. So this tab gives you details about the internet service providers, the response time of all the internet service providers, the summary where you will be able to monitor the average response time of the ISPs, and also the number of ISPs of that particular ISP that has been used, and the throughput of the ISPs as well. In the browser, you get details about the browsers that have been used to access that website. You get it in a graphical format where you can monitor the response time of each browser and also the number of browsers which have been used to access that particular URL. So you get it for a period of 15 minutes. And you also get the browser summary where you get the average response time, the total count, and throughput. So you'll also be able to monitor the device type, which is actually the device on which it was used. So you get Android, iOS, Mac, and Windows. So you get the response time of all the devices, the device usage splitter, the top view connection type, device memory as well. So you get it in a tabular form as well. Here, this is one of the core metrics in the real user monitor. Here, you will be able to view the web transactions and the components in your web page. So you have the transaction name along with its web response time, the total number of transactions made, and also the throughput and the page size as well. So you sort it by average response time count or the page size as well. And you can choose to have more than 10, 25, etc. in a single page view. And under user sessions, you will be able to monitor the user session when it started, the user ID of that particular session, the browser from which it was accessed, device, and the country, with the number of pages that particular user had navigated to, and along with that, the viewing time as well. It does not give you any uh, protected information, but it gives you a high-level information about the user sessions. Under resources, you will be able to monitor the resources that the web page has used in order to for the user to see. You have the first-party resources, third-party resources, and CDN resources. So right before the third-party resources, if you have it installed or if you have it in your web page, you can see how much of a size it is occupied in your web page, along with the response time of that resource and the total count. You also have the same details for the first-party resources and the CDN resources. You can also track the AJAX calls made from and to your website here with the transaction name, a response time, total count, throughput, and resource size. And also the JavaScript errors. The high-level information of JavaScript errors was already shown in the summary tab. Here you will be able to view the underlying information about how many times that error has showed up, the number of pages it has showed up in, the number of files it has showed up in, and the number of users it has showed up to. Here you have the errors versus affected users graph, and also the details about the errors that had showed up. So here you can see the error that had showed up and the total number of times it had showed up. And you can also see the type of error, the file in which the error was found, the page in which the error was found, and the browser which accessed that errors, along with the user IDs of the affected users, and also the domain. So this, you get a lot of information about your URL with the help of a real user monitor. So let us move on. So now that we've understood both real user monitoring and synthetic monitoring, let me tell you how they complement each other and provide great benefit when employed for your websites. So first one is correlating business with performance. Synthetic monitoring can provide the information or the performance data that will enable you to pinpoint problems with page load time or network bottlenecks. However, if you want to analyze exactly how website performance impacts business revenue, then you need more than synthetic performance metrics. Since real user monitoring is generated through real user traffic, it provides an essential insight into real business metrics such as conversion rates, which can then be correlated with the continuous performance metrics collected from synthetic testing. Number two, identify the problems before the active users arrive. No matter where applications are hosted, problems are bound to occur. Synthetic monitoring is the most effective solution to identify a configuration problem caused by an off hours, maintenance change so that it can be fixed before the users begin using your application service in the early morning hours. On the other hand, real user monitoring would be the most helpful tool to measure the application responsiveness for each and every live user during the peak hours. Number three, troubleshooting outages. So combining synthetic and real user monitoring data can make troubleshooting quicker uh, and easier. When the synthetic tests fail or trigger an alert, the data gathered from the real user monitor will show you the real time impact on the end user experience. Similarly, if real user monitor data reveals a performance anomaly, then you can use synthetic to replicate the issue by exercising the same transaction across a number of ISPs and geographical locations. Collecting the data in this way allows you to triangulate from various vantage points to identify the root cause that may lie in the data path between the end users and your application service. Real user monitoring and synthetic can be used simultaneously to verify and deep dive into the performance issues. So let's proceed to the last topic for today's session, how to enhance your web page performance to safeguard your reputation. So what's a web page analyzer and why do you need it? Synthetic transaction monitoring and real user monitoring gives you insights into the website performance from an end user perspective. Applications Manager's Web Page Analyzer monitoring service enables you to perform web page analysis, keep track of your web pages, and optimize the web page performance using page speed rules and suggestions. It helps you identify what exactly is slowing down your websites. What is Page Speeds Insight? So Page Speeds Insights is an online tool which helps in identifying the performance best practices on any given websites and provides suggestions on a website's optimization and suggests overall ideas of how to make a website faster. So you also get a waterfall chart, which when a page renders, it might have various components that constitute the page, such as CSS, JS, images, etc. So Web Page Analyzer tracks the transactions that take place when all these components load. So this waterfall chart gives you a visual representation of critical metrics related to each transaction. This helps you understand which components load slowly. This way you can prevent the website downtime and help the website perform optimally. So you also get the SSL certificate management, wherein you can monitor your SSL certificates for their expiry dates and get an alert if the expiry date is in the near future, so that you may be able to renew the certificates as well. So let me show you how you can add the web page analyzer in the UI. So basically a web page analyzer is simple. It's just an add-on. And in order to get a web page analyzer add-on, you just have to go to WPA-add-ons-download, the applications manager page. There you have to download the add-on and place it under. So you have your folders, right? So in your folders, wherever you've downloaded your applications or manager installed, there and under working, you need to place it. So in your folder, it should be placed in applications manager 16 working. So it must be placed in this folder. And after you place it in that folder, it will start working. And in order to add a monitor, go to new monitor, add new monitor. Click on web servers and services. Here, click on web page analyzer. Give all the details that are required here. So you need to specify the display name, the web page URL, the page load timeout, the wait after load, the HTTP method, whether it's get or post. So if it's a post, you can also monitor the payload as well. So after that, if you wish to, you can give the custom HTTP headers along with the username, password. and the domains to block. You can also add a content check to check the response. Here you need to specify the regular expression, whether it should contain a specific expression or shouldn't contain a specific expression. You can also do a case sensitive keyword search. And this is where you can monitor and manage your SSL certificates. If you click on this, you'll be able to monitor your SSL certificates. Even without a web page analyzer, you can add a SSL certificate monitor as well separately. But this is a much easier way to track your SSL certificates. Here you need to specify the domain of the SSL certificate, the port number, the protocol of the SSL certificate, uh, the need proxy, whether if you need proxy to connect to the domain or not. If you need a proxy, just check this box. And if you want to ignore a mismatch error in the certificate name, you can check this as well. You can ignore the root, invalid root and intermediate certificate as well. So specify the polling interval, time in minutes, and select test credential, and click add monitors. So to check the metrics under the monitors, go to monitors, and under monitors, you click on web page analyzer. Here you'll get the summary of your web page with details such as the response time, with the DNS time, connection time, first byte time, start render, document complete, and page load time. So in your URL monitor, you'll only be able to monitor these 4 metrics along with the last byte time. But here you also get the start render time, the document complete time, and the page load time. You also get a domain summary with all the domains, IP addresses, the number of requests, the size, a response time, and throughput listed here. You can configure alarm for each one of the metrics. So if you go to the network log, you'll get the details about the requests, the resources that were requested, the status code of each request, the size, and the content type with the load time as well. So here you can also filter it by the content type, such as text, HTML. So if you just want to filter it, click on that and you will be able to get it filtered. So that is it about the network logs. And in SSL TLS certificate details, you will be able to monitor it here. So here you have the details about the SSL certificate issued, the person issued to, the issued by, and the validity of the SSL certificate. You can configure an alarm here so that when it nears the expiry date, you will be able to get an alert and refresh the certificate as well. So in resource details, you get the details about the request summary with the details about the number of requests and size. You also get the screenshots here. Here you get the page speed insights suggestions. So for that particular page, the page speed score was 75. It also gives you suggestions to improve the page speed score. So to here, for example, you have the rule which is avoid bad requests, and the score is 94. To improve it, you have the following suggestions, and name is given for each and every single rule. So if you take these suggestions into account and make your page, optimize your page, you will be able to optimize the response time of the page as well, along with the end user's experience with your page. So you can also monitor your brand's reputation with the help of a brand reputation monitor. So in order to add a brand reputation monitor, you go to new monitor, add new monitor, and brand reputation. Specify the website URL. And click add monitors. So after you click the add monitors, you will be able to add the monitor and go to monitors, and under brand reputation monitor, get an overview of the brand reputation wherein you can see the malware counts, the deceptive or phishing counts, and unwanted software counts in your particular URL. You also can see if it has been suspected as malware or phishing or deceptive or an unwanted software. And you can make the rectifications according to the suggestions in your web page analyzer and check it again to see if there are still any malware suspicion or phishing suspicion on your websites. That is it for today's session. Let me do a quick recap of today's session. So in the first part, we saw how you can monitor individual URLs for better user experience. You can also analyze the issues faced in critical workflows with the help of this URL monitor. In part two, we saw how you can leverage synthetic transaction monitoring to go beyond the app-only view. In part three, we saw how you can understand real-time user experiences using real user monitoring. And in part four, we saw how you can optimize a web page via a web page analyzer and a brand reputation monitor. So if you wish to check out our YouTube channel, this is our link to the YouTube channel. And you can also follow us on LinkedIn to get product updates and all the other information about Applications Manager and add-on. If you have any questions, we have a community wherein you can post your questions or queries, and our expert panel will answer them in our pit stop. So if you need help regarding the product, you can access our help documents at appmanager.com/help, or you can type out the whole of this URL. If you are an evaluator looking to evaluate Applications Manager, please send us a mail at eval-apm@manageengine.com. You can also contact us at these numbers during the weekdays if you have any doubts. Thank you for tuning into today's session. I hope you all have a nice day.